We got to talk about the Rogan universe, ladies and gentlemen. You know, if you're a guy in between the age of 35 and probably 15, you're in the Joe Rogan universe. Let's get real. But recently, another Guruji of the comedy space is coming taking shots at old Papa Rogan. Nobody does this, by the way. So here's the thing. Rogan has an entire extended universe of people sucking on his teeth. Let's be real. Where they'll never say anything bad about Rogan or his comedy.
Because Rogan is righteous, brother.
No. No one will ever say, hey, Rogan, maybe you should stop humping stools. Nobody will say that because they all secretly want to be on Rogan. Yeah. Nobody ever tells Rogan, hey, you got a tight podcast, but this isn't that funny.
No, nobody. You can't say that. That's mean. That's being mean to him. It's just being mean. You can't.
You want the Rogan hit?
I don't want it, but
You're
I know.
Waiting for the Rogan hit? Yes.
No.
yes.
The stand up sucks, and I've told other comics, and they get offended. It's like, no, man, it's good. It's like, guys, stop.
Yeah, he's already the number one podcaster. You don't have to be the number one comedian.
He's a great podcaster. The podcast is the work of a lifetime.
Here's the point.
Yeah.
Let me get to the point. Nobody criticizes this man. You know who did, though?
Who?
The guy who sort of exists somewhat outside the mainstream comedy space. Comedian, actor, producer, Mr. Bo Burnham, ladies and gentlemen. Can we get a big round of applause for someone finally speaking the truth?
I don't think he would. All right, let's hear it.
In his new stand-up special, Bo Burnham releases a song about comedy where he takes a little hot rip on comedians thinking they're changing the world. He has some lines like literally changing the world metaphorically. And he basically rips on comedians who thinks they're like going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. But then he has a specific thing where he talks about this. Let me pull this up real quick.
You doing the marker board? You going to give him the marker? Yeah, give him the marker board.
Okay, so he has this still where if you blink, you'll miss it in the stand-up special. It's Bo Burnham's new stand-up special, where he's got a giant marker board, and in the middle of it is comedy, and it's a bunch of like things that really obviously are not that funny. So it's like TV talk shows, Harvard grads speaking truth to power. That's Conan O'Brien, by the way. Groundbreaking series about male comedian in NYC having sex. Shot on 35 millimeter. That's obviously talking about crashing.
Julius? Oh, okay.
Or maybe that one. Okay, so he's lampooning a bunch of these comedians, and then in stand-up he has lower your head slightly. Middle-aged men protecting free speech by humping stools and telling stories about edibles.
So you think this is a direct attack on Joe Rogan? You think this is an attack on Joe Rogan?
I mean, I could practically hear him saying, "Free speech is under attack."
He is that kind of guy. He does kind of. Well, you know what he does? It's like he justifies. It's almost like he feels guilty for being a white guy or something. Like that's kind of what the song kind of does that. So he's like, well, at least I'm not Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan.
Oh, you're saying Bo Burnham feels guilty about being a white guy. So
that's kind of what the song's about, isn't it? And then he feels like, okay, I should call out these other guys then.
I thought the show was just lampooning himself and other white guys doing comedy, which I don't agree that white people shouldn't be allowed to do comedy or are inherently not funny. But the point stands, which is that we've all been led to believe that the height of comedy is Joe Rogan. And specifically, he's got this you triggered on here.
You triggered? Yeah, I know that's why. That is a good rip.
It's a good rip, and let me just say this. Okay? Because people are saying it's underwhelming. Lance Anthony says this is underwhelming. Steven hyped this story up. I'm sorry if this seems underwhelming to you guys. You've got to understand.
Detective work.
Papa Rogan never gets criticized for anything. Nobody ever criticizes this guy.
No, you just pretend.
So for a mainstream comedian on a 100 million view probably viewed stand-up special to be lampooning the biggest guy in comedy or in the comedy scene, it's kind of a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal, but you know what? Inside of the stand-up comedy scene, the Joe Rogan is like the jock side. Remember I was saying this? There's it's mostly white guys, in comedy, and it's like two halves. There's the artsy side and there's the jock side, and they kind of beef with each other all the time. So Bo Burnham is artistic side. He's ripping on Joe Rogan and saying like, yeah, you jocks, that's your main guy. He's okay,
right.
And D'Elia's a pedophile.
Yeah, well,
fuck you guys.
What you find, and this is what's interesting, is that any kind of like self-aware, ironic humor like Bo Burnham has always cuts at itself too. And you've got to notice that. So Bo Burnham, as he's making fun of like white comedian stuff, he's a white comedian. So you're sort of making fun of yourself. I do agree though that can we stop calling Joe Rogan like a great stand-up guy? I mean, he's just not. That's fine. And then also they have here stand-up podcasts, cauliflower ear. That's obviously a reference to Brendan Schaub.
See, that I think Joe Rogan deserves more criticism for, because the stand-up, look, he's doing his best, and that's what he's got. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
He's doing his best, and that's what he's got.
Why are we hating?
And we can say, hey, you're whatever. But there is criticism to be given with the you triggered type of comments, and then also this Brendan Schaub relationship, because this Brendan Schaub is an idiot, and basically Joe Rogan just makes him a famous.
Yeah, let's be honest. Brendan Schaub doesn't exist as a comedian without
Useless.
Joe Rogan propping him up.
Useless.
Right?
Such a shit comedian, and his show is whatever. I don't know. His show was a lot of inside dumb jokes. Like him and Brian Callen would just do these like, so then we called Chris D'Elia, and then he said this. It's like, guys, you know, like we talk about the news and shit, not just our personal lives only.
I thought it was a funny show.
Okay,
no?
Maybe I didn't watch enough of it, to be honest. I actually liked Brian Callen before all this stuff happened. What did Brian... Okay.
Brian Callen's funny.
I just never got into the show, maybe. I just never got into the show of the two of them. Because it always just seemed like, guys, you can't... Like you know, rappers did this too, where like when Eminem got big, he made a crew called the Dirty Dozen. And it's like...
Here's the thing. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's just not the best, right? So it's like, I always saw them as like, oh, this is the Joe Rogan, like, lackey... You know what I mean? Like,
right. We've given too much power to not Rogan as like a podcast, because I think he has some cool guests on, but as a tastemaker for comedy. Rogan is the de facto tastemaker. And if you're a comedian, you basically have to kiss his ass. Let's be real about it. Let's be real. Nobody talks trash about Joe Rogan. He's the new Johnny Carson. If you're a comedian and you're on Rogan, you immediately become 10 times more profitable. So everyone wants to be on Papa Rogan. But that also means that he can put like dumb comedians on and instantly give them careers, even if they're idiots. So let's watch a few Schaub clips. He's one of my favorite fools that we never talk about.
Foolish, utterly foolish.
Look at this. Look at this.
Utterly foolish.
So this is one of Schaub's mini isms. So he's a former football player. People think he got CTE.
No, fighter too.
And that.
Okay.
He was a fighter as well. People think he has CTE.
It's just not there yet, but that's okay. But not in the UFC. Ed Suarez, I'll never forget this. When we were at Black House, I forget who it was. I think it was.
Hold on, you got to play that again. Hold on. He goes, "I'll never forget this," and in the space of 2 seconds, forgets.
Ed Suarez, I'll never forget this. When we were at Black House, I forget who it was. I think.
You know what? Though, no, American football.
Brian Ortega, when I first got the UFC, they told me he was fighting. I forget. It may have been Clay Guida or someone like that. And I go, God.
They all have brain damage, dude.
And then he goes, "It's okay, but not in the UFC though. So it's not okay." Twice.
It's just not there yet, but that's okay.
That's okay,
but not in the UFC.
But not in the UFC. So it's not okay. You said it was okay, not okay. You said you'd never forget.
Ed Suarez, I'll never forget this. When we were at Black House, I forget who it was.
Guys, this is one of the comedians of our time right here. Thanks to Joe Rogan. This is one of the top comedians out there. He sells out all his shows. What?
I think basically Brendan Schaub was gonna die doing UFC. Like he was gonna get just brain damage, knocked the fuck out. So to save his life, Joe Rogan said, "Can we just give this idiot a podcast?" There's literally an episode for like 2 hours of it. It's just Joe Rogan telling Brendan Schaub, "Stop fighting, you idiot. You're gonna lose everything. You have a kid.
Oh yeah.
You're done. You know, it's like you're done. Not even making sense half the time. Stop fighting. Doesn't make sense anymore. You're out of the game." And like they had to have like a intervention with him.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's getting brain damage. Look, people say I'm nitpicking. No, this happens literally all the time. This subreddit used to be their podcast subreddit. Now it's just a bunch of people making fun of them because this is a recurring thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting how they fell and like the mood dropped around them after Crystalia.
Well, I think it's still fun. Like I'm almost more entertained by the combination of the show and the hate subreddit than I am by either of them individually. Neither of them would be funny individually. They're but together, it's beauty.
Here's the thing: people with fast cars, especially big guys.
Here's another moment of just Chavisms. So he goes, people with fast cars, da-da-da.
Here's the thing. People with fast cars, especially big guys with dope cars, the one thing people do, it doesn't matter if you're any of size, they go, how do you...
Any of size, first of all. But, okay, he goes, look, anybody talking about Lambos, they immediately say the same dumb reaction.
Fit in that thing. It's like, oh, that's your takeaway from this dope-ass car? Jeez, I can't believe you fit in that thing. Yeah, okay. That's the takeaway, huh? Twin turbo Lamborghini, Aventador.
He's racing it.
Is he racing it?
At the track.
That's not Aventador. That's the smaller one. I can't. Again, it's not even hating on big guys in sports cars. I just can't. I can't believe he fits in there.
I know.
Like,
does he acknowledge it? I know I just
No,
said that.
dude, no. He has no idea. So he goes, I hate it. All these stupid idiot commentators are immediately commenting like, oh, how do you fit in that thing? Really, dude? That's how you took it away? And then 2 seconds later, in the same clip.
I can't believe he fits in there. Like,
that's a bit, by the way, though. That's a joke that I think he jacked from someone. Because I think I've heard someone say
that's not
on
a joke.
stage.
That's real, dude.
No. I'm saying the first part, like he's poorly executing someone else's joke, I think. Because he does that too. He just jacks some jokes or some bits from people. But like that, I feel like I've heard a comedian do that where they're like, I think Cat Williams, where he's talking about like people are just like, they have nothing going on and they're just being such haters. Like he has an old bit about haters and he's like, you'll see someone in a Lamborghini and say, oh, he doesn't even fit in that thing. And Cat Williams is like, figure out how to get a car without duct tape on it. Don't talk about whatever. Like, I just feel like I've heard that as a bit before.
Yeah, maybe.
So maybe he jacked it as a bit, but he doesn't truly think it in his heart. Because he does do that, though. He'll just take someone's opinion. What's the other one you showed me?
Yeah. There's evidence that he literally just takes people's bits.
Well, he is a dumb.
This is the problem. It's like there's so many comedians who've been grinding for 50 years, and this is why people hate this guy specifically. They've been grinding for 50 years, 20 years, whatever. They have legit chops, and they're looking for a spot. And then Joe Rogan goes, "Oh, my buddy, he does MMA once.
Dude,
let me call him a comedian and get him to sell out crowds." And it's like, dude, this isn't even.
It's garbage.
This is bad for comedy.
And losing 17 seconds into the fight with the...
Say again?
Sorry. I was going to say the whole industry's like that. Like, I mean, the comics, they think that they're above, like every comic in Toronto, not every comic, but so many comics in Toronto, they think that comedy is like a perfect meritocracy. Like there's never any favoritism. There's never any helping out because if you can't get on stage and deliver, that's it.
Yeah, that's not true.
The truth of it is actually this kind of nepotism.
It's totally political.
Nonstop. Like I'm talking about every great comic has a shitty comic just latching onto them.
Yeah.
And taking them along and being like, oh yeah, you can open for me when I do my special. But it's like, guy, they're useless. They're holding you back.
So this is a clip. It's true. And so this is a clip from Luke Thomas giving some MMA analysis. And then Brendan Schaub will give some eerily similar MMA analysis.
The same shin injury that derailed the career and then the second fight between Chris Weidman and Anderson Silva. Dude, Hollywood would reject a script if you wrote that in because it would be just too impossible for the audience to believe.
2 days later.
If you wrote this for Hollywood, if you gave him a script, and you gave him the story of Chris Weidman and how when he fought Anderson Silva, and then Anderson kicks him, fucking bends his leg and breaks it.
Just say I heard someone saying
at the end of the script.
That's all you gotta do.
And then Chris Weidman has a rematch with Uriah Hall. This guy, he's finally coming to his own, and then he throws a kick and his leg breaks the exact same way as Anderson Silva's did. Hollywood go, it's too on the nose. It's just no. It's
so anyway.
Idiot. Just say that he said it. Why do you need to take credit for this analysis? Just
here's
say
what I don't
you
understand.
Heard a guy say
There's
it.
people freaking out. So there's people freaking out.
Yeah.
At Amy Schumer for stealing jokes or stealing this. It's sacred in comedy. But when somebody does it like this, just steal somebody else's thing. Oh, that's fine.
I mean, I also think
I
that
guess
Schaub
this isn't
sucks.
comedy. This is like an MMA analysis.
No, but
like,
also like Schaub is nothing though too. Like he's not. Nobody likes him. Like everyone knows. Every comic knows. It's like Joe Rogan just was like, "You're gonna die, so let's just pretend you're funny." Hey, everyone, pretend he's funny so he doesn't fucking die doing boxing. Like,
and that's true. It's true. It probably saved his life, frankly.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and Joe Rogan is a great guy like that. He loves the community. So I don't really fault him for it. It's one of those tough
You're
things.
still simping for Joe.
Love Joe.
Amish is simping for Joe, dude.
Hey, but I'm not going to pretend the stand-up is good. The stand-up...
dude.
No. I can't watch the stand-up, though. The stand-up is just not... Like, it's just not there. Just like D'Elia's last one. Not there, man.
D'Elia's another one where everyone pretends like he's got great stand-up. It's like, okay.
He does.
Have you seen the recent stand-up?
Yeah, the recent, like, 2 or 3 are, like...
Garbage. He's like, hey, dolphins have sex? What? What's with dolphins having sex? Let's rip about dolphins having sex for 30 minutes. It's like, guy.
Stop. Yeah, no, it's not good. I've never been a huge fan of it. Like, but
look, I just think D'Elia was
tight.
busy the last year before he got,
It's crazy
really
that D'Elia
busy.
is back in the game. Like, I got a text from D'Elia because before all this shit happened, I signed up for D'Elia's texting list, and I just got a text like, "Hey man, new episode's up. Hey bro, new episode's up." And I was like, "Oh, better unsubscribe to this shit." What the fuck? You still have my number from that? Like, I think he knew, like, and maybe it was like a month ago, but he basically got canceled, took the year off or whatever. And then like a month ago, I just got a text from him. I'm like, back putting up videos, huh? And they're all like 500,000 hits.
Yeah, dude, he's crushing it. On Patreon, dude, D'Elia?
Yeah. It's big numbers. You can't cancel people anymore. That's the thing. That's the fucked up thing. You just can't cancel them.
No, that's the good thing, Amish. We like that.
Yeah, we do like that. Yeah, but it does bother you that like what he did.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it bothers me, but like at the same time, if he was never convicted, it's like, yeah, the guy should be able to allowed to work. I mean, I'm not like, you have to make a personal choice whether you like him or not, but you can't go, I'm going to take away this guy's livelihood unless he's a criminal and then put him in jail.
No, you just can't do that. You just can't do that. And whatever I think the place that he had sex with a 17-year-old is like legal or something. Because there's a couple of states in America where you could just have sex with
we don't know any of that. That's all alleged.
That's all alleged. Yeah. It is mostly alleged. But you don't think that he did it? I feel like the last time we talked,
no, for sure. He's I mean, look, did he DM a lot of girls? Did he probably sleep with a lot of young girls? Yes. Do we have any evidence that any of them were 16 or 15? At first, it seemed like we did, and then it seemed like we kind of don't. We don't have. Just kind of, he was a creep. He's a creep, which is not a crime.
Right. I don't think it was like fully. Yeah. So no.
And then he comes out and he goes like, "I'm a sex addict. Whatever. Feel bad for me."
Right.
And which fair enough. Like, if you want to change your life, whatever.
The sinner suffers. The sinner suffers in their own. They think of, he can't do anything mainstream. He's not allowed to act ever again. Like that stuff is out of the game for him, out of question for him. It's just, he has a YouTube following and they don't mind that he fucked a 17-year-old, and that's the law. It doesn't matter. Now you can't. There's nothing else you can do to him. You can't call YouTube now and be like, take him off. It's like, they don't care. Sorry, they just don't care. They're all watching again. He's at like 500,000, and dude, they just came out like a couple days ago. It's crazy because well, I was showing you that clip from Jimmy Dore, where Jimmy Dore's talking about like, guy, we're getting censored by YouTube. Like, they're just killing like his views or whatever. But D'Elia, they're just back right where they were. It's weird how they're selected. I guess because D'Elia doesn't do anything political though.
Yeah, politics is a different beast. But yeah, that's our little discussion of the Bo Burnham controversy.
Bo Burnham, Joe Rogan, wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up, dude. What's that? Hey, what do you think? I mean, who do you agree with?
On the
Burnham?
Bo Burnham or Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan.
I think.
Your
look,
team Rogue.
Yeah, like, I mean, what? I don't want to cancel him. I don't think he should be.
No, nobody thinks so. Yeah.
The stand-up's what meh. It's okay.
I just like that somebody's finally standing up and going, hey, maybe these guys aren't as funny as we thought they were. Look, we like them. I like listening to the podcast, but are they the comedians of our time?
Yeah. It's weird too. Even I remember I was watching like Joe Rogan. I think Jordan Peterson was on Joe Rogan, and he's like, you did a bit where you climbed on a stool and became some kind of a monster. You embodied the monster. It was beautiful, Joe. It's like, stop it. Like, it's not that good. But they all jerk each other. You got to do it. You got to be. It's
dude,
like
if I see you on Rogan, you're gonna be like, dude, Rogan, love that new special. And you know what I'm gonna say? No. It's okay that you do, and I'm gonna say, Amish is just playing the game, guys. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
It's not playing the game, dude. We have to be encouraging to the community, Steven. We have to be encouraging. He's doing his best, and he's putting out a stand-up comedy special. And if that's as funny as it can be, then that's all he gets. You can't say not funny. You can say it, but it's rude. Why say it?
Because no one will say it. Because everyone wants to be on the show.
I know, but
when nobody says it, when nobody says that the emperor has no funny,
it's not.
You have to say it.
Stand up on the podcast. He's funny. The podcast is great.
Yeah, he's not that funny though on the podcast. He's not. He has funny people on the podcast.
It's a 3-hour podcast, and like he throws in little bits.
I just feel like let's just call him a podcaster. He's a great podcaster.
Great podcaster.
All the props to him for being an amazing podcaster.
Yeah.
Is he the?
No, not funny. I think more of his fault is like backing up, like the triggered comment that Bo Burnham wrote.
You're kissing the ring, dude.
And like, maybe a little bit of that intellectual dark web stuff that people accuse him. I don't think it should be canceled or anything, and it is a little bit the left's fault because he made I think in a real way, he made Peterson, Shapiro. Well, now you started me again, so now we just got to wrap this point up. But he made them all famous. So if I was going to give him a hard time about anything, it would be that stuff. But hey, I'm good to rap it, dude. You want to rap it? Rap it! I'm a scammer. Gonna rip you off, take you down.